And now onto our dinosaur of the day, Uteodon, which was a request from Tyrant King via our Patreon and Discord, so thanks. Uteodon was an Iguanodontian dinosaur that lived in the Late Jurassic in what is now Utah in the US. It was found in the Morrison Formation.
See where that name comes from.
Yes, the genus name means Ute tooth, and it's named for indigenous people of Utah and Colorado. If you want the full name, the type species is Uteodon aphanoecetes, and that species name means hidden in plain sight. It looked similar to Camptosaurus. It had a rounded back, a bulky body, walked on 2 legs, had a long tail, as well as a long head and short arms. And it could walk on all 4s or 2 legs. It had fused wrists. It's estimated to grow up to 20 feet or 6 meters long and weigh up to 880 pounds or 400 kilograms, although there's a smaller estimate that it was only a little over 8 feet long or 2.5 meters long. The holotype is a partial skeleton. It was named in 2011 by Andrew McDonald. There's some debate, though, over its classification. Originally, O.C. Marsh assigned the specimen that's now Uteodon to Camptosaurus medius in 1894, and Charles Gilmore confirmed it in 1925. The partial skeleton was found in 1923 at Dinosaur National Monument, which Gilmore briefly described in 1925 and referred to Camptosaurus medius. In that description, Gilmore wrote that the skeleton was in a large block of sandstone and the limb and hip bones were, quote, more or less disarranged.
I'm guessing on the more disarranged.
He also wrote, quote, in revising the genus in 1909, Camptosaurus medius was retained as a valid species and an attempt was made to characterize it. Owing to the unprepared state of the greater portion of the type materials, which were studied at the time, the results obtained were far from satisfactory. Keeping it real. Then in 1980, Camptosaurus medius was synonymized with Camptosaurus dispar.
Oh, so it got even more synonymized.
Yes.
Less unique.
Then in 2008, Carpenter and Wilson fully described the skeleton that Gilmore had described and designated it the holotype of Camptosaurus aphanoecetes. And they referred all specimens of Camptosaurus that were found in Dinosaur National Monument to this species. And all of those specimens were found between 1909 and 1923. This included a brain case. In 2011, McDonald found enough differences to rename it from Camptosaurus aphanoecetes to Uteodon. So McDonald referred all those fossils to Uteodon based on a unique feature in a brain case. There's a piece sticking out further in the back. Some other fossils included part of a right leg and foot. And other bones were found in a block as a mix of bones from a couple Camarasaurus and an ornithopod. The brain case was in that mix, while the right hind limb was from a different set of bones found. A lot of piecing things together. In 2015, Carpenter and Lamanna argued that the brain case and the right hind limb were not from the same individual and found the brain case to actually be Dinosaur, a late Jurassic ornithopod. Based on the remaining fossils, the hind limb as well as a partial skeleton and the specimens found in Dinosaur National Monument, they found that Uteodon was the same as Camptosaurus and Uteodon wasn't valid, so they synonymized them. They said that what made Uteodon unique was actually damage to the fossil.
Oh, so what other people said was unique was just damage.
Yes. They also argued that other features McDonald said were unique to Uteodon were missing, or artifacts of different perspectives of photographs. But they did say there were still some unique characters, so it went back to being the species Camptosaurus aphanoecetes. So Uteodon became Camptosaurus again.
But within a different species. So it wasn't fully synonymized at this point, just in the same genus.
Yes. This species of dinosaur lived in an area with rivers and wetlands and a salt lake. And other dinosaurs that lived around the same time and place include the sauropods Apatosaurus and Diplodocus, iguanodonts like Dryosaurus and Camptosaurus, Stegosaurus, and theropods like Allosaurus and Torvosaurus. Other animals that lived around the same time and place include frogs, snails, turtles, lizards, crocodilomorphs, pterosaurs, and early mammals.
It sounds like we'll have to wait a little longer to see if Uteodon gets revised or not.
Mm-hmm.
Or I should say revived. Because there's a little bit of lumping and splitting and room for interpretation when you have unique features. But how many unique features do you need to make it its own genus?
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? That's what that reminded me of.
I guess.